So you have to place an order.
Umesikia?
Or to undertake our conference, which is the first of its kind for the Institute and for this region. The Institute of Chartership Broker East African branch overlooks Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and the Horn of Africa, meaning Djibouti, Eritrea, South Sudan. Today's conference underscores the importance of the blue economy at large, which the maritime industry is a subsector in it. And in today's conference, we are showcasing where we are, being an international body. And we are here with our international chairman and other very senior maritime leaders, including the executive committees of this branch, to showcase what the industry has in store for all of us, because the blue economy sector is very diverse, from shipbuilding, oil and gas, the windmills, I mean the shore power, seafood, which is fisheries, aquaculture, and container shipping, and also tourism, and the cultural aspect of it. So we are here. We have brought all the industry stakeholders so that we can deliberate and see, especially for those of us who stays around this area, around the coastline, to see what are the opportunities that are there for the young people that can be leveraged. And with the existing facilities that we have, like for example, the ports and terminal, which is a Kenya Ports Authority, how can efficiency be enhanced? And the Maritime Authority, the Kenya Maritime Authority, how can we, as an industry, work together to see that we live to the international standards? Because as you know, the shipping industry is one industry, one standard. And I think our common denominator in this industry is a ship. If you look, for example, like IMO, what makes IMO to thrive or to be in existence is the ship owners, and so is all other maritime institutions around the world. And I think our relationship as an industry is symbiotic. There's no one sector that can do without the other. So we are here to see how we can have fluidity in terms of cargo movement, in terms of training the leaders of tomorrow, in terms of adapting with current trends of shipping. We know that there's the decarbonization in shipping, which is capped to go by zero by 2050. And we have seen also, we are discussing the disruptions in shipping, like what we have been seeing happening at the Strait of Hormuz, that is escalating the cost of doing business. And also we have been discussing how e-commerce can ease the connectivity between sea to land and the hinterland of the country and the regional countries that are served by the port of Mombasa. So we are happy, and we thank all participants. We thank the county government of Mombasa that has been very supportive to us. We thank the Kenya Ports Authority, our HQ, the Institute of Chartership Brokers, and all other leaders that are here. And this will be culminated by a dinner this evening, where we'll converge again, all of us, in that gala dinner and award the best performing students, plus award some of the industry leaders who have been given honorary fellowship for the statesmanship in leadership and the support of the institute and the industry at large. Tomorrow we'll be having a symposium for the students, where we'll bring in all universities, colleges, industry leaders, experts, banks, academia, and all other players, including the schools, so that we can discuss and see what opportunities are there for the young people and how can they tap into these opportunities. And I wish to thank everybody who has who have come to support us. It's a clarion call for us that we have to move with the world. The maritime industry or shipping accounts for 90% of cargo or trade, or global trade, by volume, and 70% by value. So it's a very critical industry, and we have to be part of it. We have to be players. We cannot afford anymore to be participants. We have to move from policies to practice. Or like my peers always tells me, that she doesn't want to see output, she wants to see outcome. Thank you.
Great. First of all, great opportunity to be here. My name is Krishnan Subramaniam. I am the International Chairman of the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. And first time here in Kenya, but really glad to be here and glad to see the vibrant community here, the maritime community, the professionals, and especially the young generation who are looking forward to taking up maritime as a career, whether it is seafaring or on the shore side. The opportunities are tremendous. We are an interconnected world as far as maritime is concerned, and glad to see that the great support from Bandari Maritime Academy as well. With the new office of the ICS opening up in this premises, I'm sure that it will become a great center of knowledge and support, not only to students, all the professionals, and the wider industry. I'm based in Dubai and do a lot of projects in the region, so really glad to support from that angle as well. Wishing the events all success and continued progress. Thank you.
Mr. Krishnan Subramaniam, the International Chairman, ICS. Karibuni sana, and let's begin with the proceedings. So, yes. Mr. Mbaru, we start with you. Mr. Mbaru, you occupy a unique position because you represent the shipping agents, the invisible glue that the vessel, the cargo, the customs house, and the truck at the gate. You also chair this very branch of the ICS. You understand that the port is not a building, it's an ecosystem. Yet too often, the ecosystem behaves like a collection of separate fiefdoms. The terminal operator optimizes for the crane productivity, the shipping line for schedule integrity, the freight forwarder for documentation, speed, the cargo owner for inventory cost, and the custom for revenue assurance. Rarely do they move in concert. So my question, Mr. Elijah, how can port operators, shipping lines, freight forwarders, custom agencies, and cargo owners work more effectively as one logistic ecosystem rather than separate institution?
Thank you, Mr. Mudathir, and thanks to the panelists and the audience. My name's Elijah Mbaru. I'm the CEO of Kenya Ships Agents Association. I also tag in as the chairman of the Institute of Charter Ship Brokers. Very pertinent question, and a question that is very close to my heart. I think as we deliberated in the morning, a lot of the speakers who came after me mentioned that there's need of synchronizing our maritime industry ecosystem. And we are intertwined somewhere in between all of us, from the shipping lines to the ports and terminals, to the customs, and to the service providers, the other service providers who are customs agents, transporters, ship contractors, and others. So the question is, how can we work together in this ecosystem and bridge the gaps? I think, in my view, and this is what I've been telling the management of the port and the management of the Kenya Maritime Authority and all other private sector players, is that we need visibility. And how does visibility come? Today, the world is moving into a digital space. We are going from analog to digitizing, and then from digitizing to digitalization. I'll give an example of our port of Mombasa today. We have a system, a single window system, so they call it the Quarto system, that they are upgrading today on a TOS basis from version 7.1 to version 8.1, which is the current version globally. But still, we can see that there's no visibility. And that's why you see at times you find trucks getting into the port and they get stuck because there's no proper communication between the manifest that is lodged from the shipping line that goes to Kentrade, to customs, then to the other stakeholders. In my view, the consumer or the originator of the documentation in this entire ecosystem is the shipping line, because they are the ones who lodge the manifest. It's just like in the air freight, it's the airlines that are the originator of these documents. So this document should not be lodged in fragmented spaces or institutions. If I was to be asked today, I would say that the manifest should come from the shipping lines to Kentrade, then Kentrade populates to everybody else. But we find that there's a lot of suspicion in the parts of the government agencies and the private sector. that customs says the manifest has to come to us first so that we can sieve, and then goes to Kentrade. And you can see there's a lot of wastage in time. So there's need to have a port community system that is integrated. All the other single window systems can remain. Customs can remain with ICMS, KPA can remain with Quartos, the shipping lines with their different modules that they have, and the customs agent as well. But we need to have a port community system that brings visibility to us all, so that every other person can see the movement and locations and can make a data-driven decision when this system is there. On the parts of the shipping lines, I think if you have heard of the JIT, the just-in-time concept, that is now being brought about by the AI and the IoT, the Internet of Things, that the ship management company, or the agent for that matter, the ship's agent, can be able to plan ships moving based on data-informed information, that they will know they can schedule bunkers that will be consumed, the time of berthing, the port stay, and also they can predict weather so that they can adjust their speeds accordingly. So this is these are two aspects that I think can bring about this collaborative effort. And the third one, of course, is a deliberate effort by the government. The government should not be an impediment, and the government needs to work with the private sector. Government gives policy, but private sector gives the expertise and the money that is required to run the businesses. So it is not a one-sided affair. It is required to all the players to work in tandem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So it's about expanding trust, inculcating technology, and using the latest so that we can all work together. Thank you very much, Mr. Elijah. Now, on to Mr. Nganga. You look at this corridor through the lens of capital and development finance. The bank does not fund vanity projects. It funds economic transformation. And transformation requires choices, because money is finite. But our needs, unfortunately, are not. Kenya stands at crossroads. Do we deepen our harbor? Do we extend the standard of rail gauge? Do we build cold chain hubs for horticultural exports? Do we fiber optic the entire port community system? Or do we invest in human capital that will operate whatever we build? For my question, what investments should Kenya prioritize over the next 5 years to improve logistic resilience, berth capacity, inland logistics, rail and road connectivity, cold chain facilities, digital infrastructure, or workforce skills? And critically, why? But before you answer the question, first, there are very eager students in front of you waiting to hear some few words of advice and encouragement, then leap into the question. Thank you. Karibu.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. You've posed a very challenging question. I'll do my best to answer it. I'll also take that assignment you've given me. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Nganga. I am a Kenyan national. I work for the African Development Bank in Cote d'Ivoire at the headquarters in Abidjan, where I serve as a ports and maritime transport expert, supporting colleagues within the bank prepare structure projects within the ports and maritime sector. I've had the benefit and privilege of also working with the Port Authority for 11 years. I did work for Rift Valley Railways, a PPP, for 4 years, and took the best of the experience from a PPP investment, even though it failed, but I walked out with some experience that enabled me to go work for a regional development agency known as Trademark East Africa. And I want to say I was very privileged to, amongst others, install the first flyovers in Mombasa, in Changamwe. I designed, structured, fundraised, and mobilized money for that project, oversaw its execution, and access in and out of the port of Mombasa into that area is as seamless as you see it today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an economist, but God has given me that opportunity to work with guidance, and what I must admit is that I'm a student of this institution. In 1997-98, I sat for the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers Foundation Diploma in Shipping in this particular institution. Yeah. I then did my qualifying exams in 1999 in this particular institution. In those years, I got prizes for liner shipping, the overall global prize, and in 1999, I got the prize for the International Through Transport examination then. And there's a reason I'm trying to highlight, especially the International Through Transport examination. That examination was marked and set by a gentleman known as Professor Anthony Beresford of the University of Wales. Courtesy of those awards, I was able to apply for a British Council Chevening Scholarship Award and was offered a full scholarship by the British government to go to the then Institute of Maritime Studies, International Transport and Maritime Studies at Cardiff University in the year 2000 to 2001. Why am I highlighting this? Is because we have many students, and I think in the morning our colleagues talked of the issues of the next generation. I'm trying to tell you that it is possible, optimizing the facilities and opportunities of the various maritime institutions today in Mombasa. We have MKU, we have JKUCAT, we have Bandari Maritime Academy, we have Mr. Soita's Maritime Mami. We have a lot of opportunities, and we are a strong maritime country in the sense that we have one of the biggest ports in this coastline, yeah, and a maritime ecosystem in this particular coastline. Using the resources available, the networking available within this sector, each and you, individual of you as a student within this environment can make the best possible and take yourselves to the highest possible levels in terms of skills and competences to compete competitively for other roles in the future within not only this country but globally. That is the message. So I am happy to discuss bilaterally with any of you how you can optimize and make the best of those opportunities. But as I end, it is important to combine the academic programs like the ones of Bandari Maritime Academy with the professional qualifications of the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. When you make those two into one combination and a cocktail, you become the most competitive candidate that you can ever be for the road ahead. I hope I've delivered that message in the shortest possible time. Thank you very much. Now, to answer the question, yes, I work for the African Development Bank Group. We are a development-oriented institution. Our objective, especially in the ports maritime, is to seek a total transformation to strengthen the competitiveness of our sector. As a country or a region, this port facility, infrastructure facility in Mombasa and the one being developed in Lamu are actually anchor facilities for economic transformation across a bigger hinterland behind us. In terms of priorities, I do believe, especially in Mombasa Port, it is important and it is urgent that the government undertakes the investment to transform and rehabilitate berth number 11 to 14. Berth number 11 to 14 was built in the 50s and was designed to handle ships of about 150 to 200 meters length overall. But today's vessels, we are getting vessels of 400 meters thereby coming into the port. So it is important that it is urgently, investment is facilitated so that it can be redesigned and into a straight key line of about 800 meters, providing world-class facilities, the kind of draft, and I'm told designs have been done, feasibility work has been done to enable it to have a capacity to accommodate ships of up to 16.5 meters draft. Yes, resources are finite. You start from the gateway, the entry point, that is the port. Then going inland, we are lucky as a country, we are rolling out the standard gauge railway. But we need to ensure that the standard gauge railway and the corridor actually anchors other economic activities like industrialization and other economic stimulating activities that would enable agricultural production to be optimized. Why am I saying that? We are a country with a very big youthful population, and it is our responsibility to create economic opportunities and activities that will provide our young people with employment opportunities. When you anchor industrialization through development of special economic zones along the standard gauge railway corridor and the dry ports, you then facilitate creation of economic opportunities that will enable our young people get meaningful work that can enable them to then stimulate and improve the quality of life that they live. The other aspect is on digitalization. Did I get you right? It is important that as a country or as a region, first of all, I need to acknowledge, we are one region that has been able to digitalize its actually transport economic corridors. We do have automated tracking systems that are being used by customs, but we need to make sure that we have a port community system that is functional and fully effective in line with the IMO Maritime Single Window, it's called the FAL Convention guidelines. We need to quickly be able to optimize whatever is there so that it can function fully to support that. Then, last but not least, because in view of time, we need to ensure that our border crossings are as seamless as possible. We have one of the largest border crossing in Africa, that is the Malaba border post, which handles more than 1,500 trucks per day. We need to make sure that the experience and the process is as seamless as possible. But all these, ladies and gentlemen, from our development context perspective, is normally embedded in two particular policy documents. The Regional Integration Strategy paper, developed in partnership with the East African Community, that would carry those priorities in order to allow for screening and allocation of those scarce resources, as well as what we call the country strategy paper for each, for Kenya and all the other countries. And I want to say this, that all the development banks do prepare those papers in partnership with the government in each country, and they have a 5-year cycle. So it is important that those priorities are meshed into the country strategy paper and the regional integration paper, so that resources can then be allocated. We can have a further discussion on this, but for briefly, that's how I see the priorities in terms of improving port facilities, improving the integration of the corridors, and improving the border posts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now over to you, Mr. Kirade. The State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries is one of the most exciting and complex brief in government. The Blue Economy is not an abstract policy document that sits in Nairobi office. It is the fish landing site in Lamu Beach. It is the mangrove carbon sink. It is the cruise tourism potential and the offshore resources beneath our exclusive economic zone. But here is the tension. We want to grow maritime trade, yet additional vessel and every additional truck, every additional container adds pressure on emission, congestion, waste, and environmental degradation around our coastal cities. Mombasa already breathes under that pressure. So let me start with the digital lever. How can digital tools such as port community system, cargo tracking, electronic documentation, and data sharing improve transparency, reduce delays, and lower transaction costs without excluding the smaller industrial logistic players that may not have the capital for extensive platform? Over to you.
Thank you very much for that particular question and an opportunity to engage with the participant in this particular discussion. As you have indicated, the issue of digitization brings solution to paper documentation, which had a myriad of challenges. So when we talk about digitization, it is not only just to ensure there is efficiency in port operations, but to ensure there's inclusive economic growth, there's environmental sustainability, and most importantly, there is good governance. As a result of that, the objective of this is to ensure that we have the smart, where we have transparent, and we have the low carbon port operation ecosystem, where both large and small operators are given an equal opportunity to do business with the port. Because if we fail to ensure that there is that equity, then we will be excluding a very good constituents or a very good significant segment of our communities. So how do we see that digitization brings about solution to the issues that you have indicated? One way of dealing with that is to ensure that there is proper integration of this port community system, working together into a singular platform, where all stakeholders operating within the port, they have an equal opportunity to exchange information, log in, and also share information that they have. So creation of this singular platform where all these players can log in and also ensure that their port requests are processed within shorter time possible, it's very significant. It's very important to ensure there's that efficiency. Another important aspect to do with the digitalization is that aspect of communication, that these systems, they are able to communicate with each other system without any hitch, without any challenge, without any player being locked out of the system, simply because that there's that problem of communication. So the system itself should be robust enough to ensure there is communicating with all these other systems integrated in one singular platform. Even as this happens, it is important that we have transparent governance, where electronic documents are able to be tracked, they are able to be audited for the purposes of mitigating corruption, mitigating fraud, and discretionary decision making, where a certain cabal of individual can make a decision without other players understanding what's going on. So this system should be transparent enough to all players so that fraud, corruption is mitigated. In order, again, also to ensure there's confidence amongst the player, is to have what we call the digital framework governance, where issues to do with privacy, issues to do with cybersecurity is assured, so that stakeholders and players in the industry, they are confident enough even to integrate their systems. Because issues of confidentiality of client, of the goods they're handling, is also very paramount. So if this system itself, it is not secure enough, we may not build the confidence that is needed by stakeholders to integrate their system into this singular platform that is very important for all players. Additionally, we need to build what we call inclusive digital transformation for all players, especially the small and medium-sized enterprises. Building digital platforms, they are quite expensive, and not all players may have that muscles to develop the systems that they may need in order to be an equal partner or a significant partner when it comes to port operations. And as a result of that, we need to build a system that is able to support small players in the sector. We need to build a system that, or a mechanism that also offer technical support to them, so that we do not in any way disadvantage the small players, but we are able to integrate fully all players that have an interest in the port of operation. And this is very significant. And lastly, what I can indicate is that there is need of building the risk-based regulatory compliance, whereby the players in the sector, they are able to log in their system, they are able to be tracked, to avoid unnecessary scrutinizing of ships when they land into the port. So that prior regulatory compliance by the ships It is very important. Make our ports to be a little bit faster and support ports operation. Just to add one final comment with respect to, without excluding, especially these small players in the port operation, is why we need to build the public-private partnership, to build a robust infrastructure like the port service center, shared port service centers, where these small players can go into the port, they log in, and they are able to access these services in this digital platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benson. Thank you. Now, Mr. Katuta, you've been in the trenches of private logistics. You built express shipping logistics from ground up. You know that resilience for private operators is not a government subsidy. It's a business imperative. The global shocks of the last few years, the pandemic, Strait of Hormuz, fuel volatility, have separated the agile from the fragile. Yet agility costs money. Real-time tracking costs a lot of money. Dual sourcing carriers cost money. The small and medium logistics player often face a brutal choice: innovate or risk cash flow death, or stay static and risk competitive death. You die either way, just you pick your death. So my question to you, sir, building a resilient private logistics sector requires balancing agility with cost. How can private shipping and logistic agencies innovate their operational models to absorb global economic shocks while maintaining port efficiency? Over to you, Mr. Katuta.
One answer. Join ICS study. Thank you. It's a very good question, moderator. How much time do we have? 2 hours? You've asked a very good question, which I'm very passionate about. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, because I don't know whether I will get this microphone again, let me take this opportunity to appreciate Krishnan Subramani for coming over, leaving everything in Dubai, and the world is demanding your time from all over the world, ICS, and other things, to come and be with us. A round of applause, please. Elijah and your executive committee, thank you for a great job. You are doing a great job, so thank you. Mr. Nganga has been ICS chair in the past, so I also recognize you. And I want also to recognize one more person, and I will say the reason why. Mr. Soita, please, would you be upstanding a little bit? Yes, thank you. Here where we are in Bandari Maritime, which is doing a very good job and in building up young, upcoming maritime leaders. One of those being nautical. My son is here, the last born. He is doing nautical studies. And you are also doing other courses, logistics. We heard this morning from the principal. Thank you very much. There was a constant message or advert that played on CNN over the last 5 years of this gentleman called Olemelu. I can't remember whether he's South African or Zambian. He comes in an auditorium with the young people and he tells them, the future of Africa is in your hands. How many have seen that? You don't watch CNN? No. Okay, thank you. Yeah, the future of Africa is in your hands. And when I see all of you, this is what I see. Let me repeat with a twist what my colleague Nganga spoke about. In 1992, I sat for my ICS exams, and at Maritime and Management Institute, which is run, operated, tutored by Mr. Soita. And that time, there were very few African examination centers. I took time because I wanted to study and be the best in the shipping industry. I did my exams in 1992, April, and that is when the first international award came to Africa in Kenya. That was the liner trade shipping, and that was by me, yours truly. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. You can all be award winners, stars in the maritime industry. Since then, I got the German sponsorship. Actually, the Kenya National Shipping Line, which was thriving that time, the MD called me and offered me a management trainee place. I went through the ICS PQE by the London School of Foreign Trade, full sponsorship. And later on, the German government took me to Sweden to do my master's degree, and I came back. I am connecting to what you're saying now. Thinking about coming back or staying in Europe, because some of my classmates and people who went abroad for their masters, they didn't come back. They are not like James, not like me. Some of them stayed abroad. But I looked at Africa, East Africa, and I said we must go back home to build and create jobs. But with all respect to every company that was there before when I went to Sweden, when I looked at which organization do I think I can fit in, I did not see any, because my standards which I wanted would be higher by far. And for that to happen, I must be at the control of the organization. I cannot come and fit as a manager in another company, then make the changes that I wanted. You asked me a very good question. What does it take to thrive, to be resilient in a tumultuous or changing environment? One, I'm answering that question by sharing my journey. So that's how I started Express Shipping and Logistics. This year we are celebrating 25 years. We celebrated 25 years. We are all over East Africa, from Mtwara, where we control, in Tanzania, where we control a market share of about 90% of all the port traffic. Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar, Tanga, Mombasa, Lamu, Kisumu, and others. What makes that difference? Resilience. One of our value is to be a market leader. You must lead. In South Africa, they have a saying, either we go big or we go home. You decide that you want to be the best, go for the ICS, go for your nautical studies, not half-heartedly. Make it your best with your best ability. So since then, our growth is client-driven because we change with the times. Over the time that we've been there, we faced quite some issues, which have been like the Strait of Hormuz, the Suez Canal, COVID, and so on. But I give you an example of what happened in Tanzania. With the new government that happened, they said all shipping companies, shipping agents must be handed over to the state corporation. And many of the multinationals closed. And I told my team, this, others see it as danger, extinction. We saw that as a great opportunity. And that's the reason why we are market leader in Tanzania today as well. Why? Because as the multinationals and others closed, we mutated. You say changing. We changed, and we concentrated on protective agency. Where the government was the agent, the government is never good at business. So we became the ones to supervise. So the ship owners will come to us, and we supervise the government, TASAC, as it was called. We weathered the storm, we were resilient, we made some losses, yes, but when the curve turned and the new government came in and said, no, we made a wrong decision, we are turning back, and they opened again the shipping industry to private sector, we were the first one to ride on the wave, and therefore we took advantage fully. while others were on cold layup as we speak, and they had to start now cranking the engines. We were already flying. Resilience, changing with times, knowing what to do at what time. And ICS does help a lot in, as you do your examinations, even if you're doing nautical or marine engineering, consider adding another feather in your cap. Do the ICS. ICS is global. It shows you the business, how to run the business. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Katuta. You heard it from him, the silver surfer himself, Mr. Agility, who rode the wave in Tanzania. Asante sana. Now, over to you, Mr. Subramaniam. We pull back the lens to the global horizon. Lead the ICS from London, but your gaze spans every trade route on this planet. East Africa does not operate in a vacuum. What happens in the Panama Canal, the Suez, South China Sea, in the corridors of Brussels and Washington sends ripples that reach our shores. Decarbonization mandates, alternative fuel transitions, geopolitical realignments, nearshoring trends, and digitization of trade documentation. These are not distant headlines. They are currents that will either carry East African maritime stakeholders forward or pull them under. My question to you, sir, what international shipping trends should East Africa maritime stakeholders monitor closely over the next 3 to 5 years?
Thank you very much, and again, thanks for this opportunity for being here. I would say that I have picked up, many things, learned from what all the esteemed panelists have been discussing here and even in the morning. I want to do it a little bit different. I don't see any energy in the room. Is it because of lunchtime? Are we close to lunchtime or already past lunchtime? Yes or no?
It's just about, and today is Friday, so people will have to go for prayers.
Right. Yeah. So we don't say, thank God it's Friday, it should not be. Can I request everybody to put down your smartphone for a moment? Keep it face down. Actually, this is actually, why it's called a smartphone? Because if this is smart, it makes it dumb. Because it dumps information on us, sometimes which is not required. Can I request everybody, please, especially the students, you should not miss even a single word which is spoken here, which can change your life. I wish I had this kind of an opportunity when I was a student, which I did not get. So be thankful for these kind of opportunities which are being brought to you, to your doorstep. So please pay full attention. And I'm going to ask a question and I want answers. How many conflicts are going on in the world today? Numbers, small, big. We sometimes hear only the big ones, right? A rough guess. And if a student is going to give me a very close number, I'm going to offer free mentorship till they clear the ICS exam.
There's the opportunity.
How many numbers? How many conflicts are going on in the world today? Yes, pick a number. There's no penalty for wrong answers.
Here's the mentorship.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eunice. I come from Zono Institute. I just want to try.
Please.
I'm not saying I'm the best, but I think there are current conflicts at the Red Sea.
How many numbers? Just pick a number. Now, we know the big ones in terms of Middle East, Red Sea, Russia. I guess.
I can say 5.
5. Anybody else? Any students? These are things which can sometimes help you in your exams, irrespective of which paper it could be. Yes.
Hello, my name is Tai Kututa. I'm a student with the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers, and I would say about 25,000.
25,000 conflicts?
Thank you.
Certain things which we are known. Yes, please. Yes, one more try.
Good afternoon. My name is Wangeshi Mundia. I'm a student at Bandari Maritime taking nautical science. And I'd guess the number of conflicts are around 25.
25. So of course we had 3 tries. Yes. Anybody else? Last one. Somebody who did not use ChatGPT by that time.
My name is Brian Konde, from a student of Bandari Maritime Academy. I think 10 conflicts.
Sorry, what's the number?
Brian Konde.
No, what's the number? How many?
10.
10. Okay, so what was your name again? The band leader?
Wangeshi Mundia.
So, big round of applause to her. She was the closest. And I'm sure you're going to do the ICS exam, right? So you have a free mentorship from me or other tutors. So there are about 55 conflicts going on in the world today, right? And sometimes we don't recognize the significance of some of the so-called small ones which doesn't affect us, which are not in the big news every day. We only see the big ones, which has got the big impact, and that too, you know, we call it as a VUCA world. How many of you heard this term, VUCA? V-U-C-A. Have you ever heard this term? We call that this is a VUCA world, which means it is volatile, it is uncertain, it's complex, and it is ambiguous. All put together. That is the kind of world which we are living in, not just today, for the past almost a decade. And this is not going to stop. That's the bad news. But the good news is that we have become resilient. It's not something in the distant future. Human beings will be like this. We will thrive, we will survive, we will progress, we will find opportunity. Right? And that will continue. For that, we need information. Today, unfortunately, we are in an information overload. Right? There is so much of information which is being pushed onto us every day, every second. So the first choice which we have to make is that which information do I really need today to perform my job, to pass in the exam, to get a job. You know, we all need the right information, right? So we need information, but convert that into applied knowledge. And that's what ICS is all about in terms of application of knowledge. And again, let me take a cue from what all the others mentioned here. Some of the brightest students getting awards today are university students, and therefore you have an opportunity. You know, it's not the professional who has been there for 10 years. Some of them are university students who are even completing their PQE and then waiting for their membership because you need at least 1 year work experience to get the membership, right? So utilize information. To be resilient, you need the right information. The second one is network. Every job has got its own peculiarity, and shipping, logistics is about network. You need to know people, you need to be there in front of people. As much as we say, yes, COVID brought in certain things about virtual meetings, etc. And we are talking about digital exams now, but nothing like being in front of your customer, your stakeholder when you want to be, and that has got the maximum impact. And networking opportunities like this, or even today evening or tomorrow, please utilize it to the maximum. How many of you are on social media? Facebook? How many on Facebook?
TikTok, Instagram.
Insta? Is it bad to be on TikTok? No, not at all. It depends how we use that. What about LinkedIn? How many on LinkedIn? See more hands. That's because, is it because that is the only professional platform? I recruit people based on their Facebook profile. That shows the truth. Or Insta. There's something known as the digital footprint. Yes. Have you heard of this term?
Yes.
As a recruiter, these are the first things which recruiters look at, not at your CV, right? So use that to your advantage. Build network. It cannot be done the day before the interview. It cannot be done, you cannot pass an exam by studying the night before the exam, right? You have to build your portfolio. So to be resilient in any kind of situation, whether it is for your career or for your business, please build active networks. And so I normally hear this from students who I've been sending requests to 100 of them. Hardly anybody replied. That is how the world is. You have to send to 1,000 people to get at least 10 replies. But build your network consciously, and that's the only thing. Whether it's for a successful business, it doesn't happen overnight. It is built brick by brick. It is built. Second thing is, on a broader scale, on a serious note in terms of opportunities, yes, Middle East has always been in the center of conflicts, and unfortunately, we always say that wherever there is sources of energy, there is a potential for this, because that's what the world needs ultimately. Everybody needs energy, right? And therefore politics becomes entirely intertwined or entangled with that. So therefore today we are even seeing, okay, Hormuz has got a problem. Red Sea, it had a serious problem. It was okay. It's again, there is an uncertainty there. So where would the ships go now? How would the ships go? They have to go from east to west, from west to east. How would they go? They have to go via the Cape again, which means that there could be more traffic which is flowing through this region. So therefore, it is very important to watch out for the signs in the world. Where is the conflict happening? What is the potential consequence? For example, some ports in this region and even South Africa, they lost out a lot on bunkering when the Red Sea was closed, because the facilities were not geared up for that, right? There's a lot of opportunities which were lost. Now, can that be recovered? Will that happen again? Yes, it is happening again. So therefore, they had already started working on it, since the last 3-4 years. So therefore, opportunities like this, yes, it is unfortunate that conflicts are happening. However, the success of a person or a business is in terms of anticipating. Information is available with everybody now. How would you connect the dots? How would you use your network to have the right kind of information? Again, giving an example, the biggest source or the best source of authentic information which we have in the Middle East today is our ICS members WhatsApp group. Can you imagine? We get first-hand information from each and every member is in that group about what exactly is happening, whose ship is passing, has it passed, has it not passed, not on public information. So I would only suggest that please use these networks. So as students, yes, you would have your own network. Once you get into a job, you have your network. In ICS, you would have an alumni network. Utilize that effectively, because that is how you would identify opportunities. And last but not the least, I would say, please collaborate. Today, the world moves so fast. Gone are the days. I'll take a line from Elon Musk, one of the books, where he says that gone are the days where you would hold the idea to yourself, wait for the opportunity, wait for the financing to be there, wait for a sponsor, and then say, let me hold on to that idea. He says that just look around. By the time you think of that, somebody else has already implemented that, capitalized, optimized, and gone to the market. So today, do not hold on to the idea telling that you will get 100% of the benefit to yourself. Collaborate with the right parties. That's how businesses are going fast to the market. Collaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Subramaniam. At this point, I'd like to invite, we'll take 2 questions in the interest of time. Anybody with a question? If there are no questions, that means everybody was well understood. Now, I'll start from Mr. Katuta. Just in a minute, your parting shot, word of advice, any intuition that you have that you want to share with the audience. A minute each as we close the session.
Thank you very much. I will be very brief. In whatever you do, seek to do it with excellence and with a whole heart. Even if you found yourself in Bandari Maritime because your parents asked you to do or suggested, but as long as you are here or in ICS or in the shipping industry, purpose to do the best under the resources that are in your capability and under you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Katuta. Mr. Kirade Benson.
Okay, they say that calm sea don't produce skilled sailors, but rough seas do. So when you go through rough patch of life, understand that a skillful sailor is being produced. And when it comes to business competitiveness of our port, should not in any way, or should be implemented in tandem with the environmental sustainability, inclusive growth, and the good governance. And that is very significant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and thank you, the audience. I think Mr. Kututa has laid it out. What I just want to reiterate is, in whatever you do, in your day-to-day engagement, as you build your career, discipline will come to play. Discipline is not about doing the right thing when other people are looking at you. It is about doing the right thing at any time with a focus and with a positive intention so that you can achieve the objectives that you've set for yourself. All the best to all of you. Sorry, language I wanted to bring out. I work in a multilingual environment. I am an Anglophone because I speak English, but the world is much bigger than being able to speak one language. So at this age, if you are able to learn a second language, please put some effort into that. I do admire colleagues in the African Development Bank who switch in a meeting, they speak in English, and in the same meeting, they speak in French, and they move between languages. I may not get much of a leadership role in the bank, and the reason is I'm bilingual. I speak one language, and in leadership, you have to communicate to everybody. But the colleagues who speak more than one language have higher chances of going up because they can communicate without discriminating any of their audiences. Thank you.
Thank you. I think my parting shot is pretty simple. There's no human who is limited. And let us please understand that today's, the world is a global village. So whatever you do, align it with the world requirement. And I think ICS is a testimony that we all brought together with a purpose. Our ideas might differ, our ideologies, but our purpose is singular. So my parting shot is that please, there's nobody who is limited. Let us be resilient, let us be disciplined, let us be dedicated, and let us believe in ourselves. Thank you.
I think I'd given enough, but just as a closing one, I would say stay hungry, not from the lunch today, but and stay curious. And for those brave, aspiring seafarers, please start thinking what you would do once you're back. Right? First of all, don't give up. Don't just go up to, say, a second engineer or a third mate and say, I'm done, I'm giving up. Go up to becoming a master or a chief engineer, and then start thinking about what the world is going to be whenever you're returning. It could be 10 years, 15 years, and you have to start the planning today. Do not wait to hang your boiler suit and boots and then say, now let me start thinking, because I'm mentoring a lot of returning seafarers now who are really caught up in this dilemma. I want to quit sailing, but I don't know where I will go or how I should go. Right? So that's my, I would say, a closing line. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If there's one thread that binds every answer we have had today, it is this. Resilience is not a solo sport. It is team discipline. Right? So, in the wisdom or in the spirit of our friend Mr. Nganga, I would like to tell the panelists, asanteni sana, merci beaucoup, shukriya, asante, dankeschön, and let us now, we can give them a very big round of applause before they go down. And please don't miss the afternoon session today at 2 o'clock sharp, same venue, same place. Asanteni sana.
service. The port development that also should support all the shipping lines. Visiting our is required to help them also to be good steward of environment and economy and waste management. So professionalism with respect to how we conduct our port, we operate in our ports, how the shipping line carry pollutant into the water will go a long way in ensuring that we have that not only benefit from the coastline, but also fully harnesses the immense potential of this maritime economy for the ship. The program, for implementation of the program, and we continue to be the good steward of our marine environment.
For reminding us the importance of safeguarding marine environment, and for the participants and players in this raising together. Without much ado, I would like to invite our keynote address, Dr.
Great. First of all, great opportunity to be here. My name is Maniam. I am the International Chairman of the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. And first time here in Kenya, but really glad to be here and glad to see the vibrant community here, the maritime community, the professionals, and especially the young generation who are looking forward to taking up maritime as a career, whether it is seafaring or on the shore side. The opportunities are tremendous. We are the great support from Bandari Maritime Academy as well. With the new office of the ICS opening up in this premises, I am sure that it will become a great center of knowledge and the wider industry. I'm based in Dubai and do a lot of projects in the region, so really glad to support from that angle as well. Wishing the events all success.
We are here at the Bandari Maritime Academy, the very place where the next generation of maritime professionals must understand not just navigating the cargo, but cyber risk, intelligence sharing, and crisis leadership. Over the next 1 hour, we will entail our seas safe and our data secure and our commerce flowing, despite geopolitical headwinds. Let's begin. Joining us in our panel, in our esteemed panel this afternoon, commendation. Karibu, Major Frank. As the Major makes his way up, I shall clear the way for the Colonel. Colonel Faith Wagandi. Applause for her. Unapea applause ya 7-gun salute, bwana. Kenya Navy is in the house.
We know that there are some demeanor factors.
And from the private, from the Kenya, let's welcome Anwar Weru, the Director of ICT, who is here representing the CEO of Kentrade, Mr. David Ngarama. Karibu sana. A big round of applause. To the podium. Karibuni.
We are just settling down.
This is good.
Get some ship pictures.
Some ship pictures.
Or get one ship model, ask MSc or
Asante sana.
find they can do a ship model.
Major, tunaanza na wewe. Major Yenga, you have served in uniform and now you serve in the private risk management space. That dual lens is invaluable because the threat we have moved from piracy in the Gulf of Aden, though that has not disappeared completely, to insider threats, sabotage, smuggling networks, and terrifying vulnerability of A single container with the wrong contents or a single compromised access badge can cascade into a catastrophe. My question to you, Major, from a port security and risk management perspective, what are the most significant vulnerabilities facing ports and shipping operations today, and what practical measures can organizations take to reduce or avert them? Over to you, Major.
Thank you very much.
I can start.
Mr.
Thank you so much. My name is Elijah
I don't know whether I'm spelling it right, I'm mentioning it right.
Shakespeare alisema by any other name remain as fit.
So today we are congregated here to
thank you for that.
perform or
my
to
name
undertake
is, as mentioned,
our conference, which is the first of
the
its kind
CEO
for
of
the institute and for this region.
Marine
The
Consortium.
Institute of Charter Shipbroker East
is a
African
consortium
branch
comprising
overlooks
of so many
Kenya,
professionals
Tanzania,
from various
Uganda,
fields.
Rwanda at
After
large,
being
which
mentored
the
by
maritime industry is a
Colonel Faith,
subsector in it.
and I'm glad that I'm here
And
today.
in today's conference, we are showcasing
that I've never
where we
failed
are,
you.
being an international
I'm
body.
still
And we are
making
here
the
with
best of
the
moments.
shore power,
And
seafood,
to the
which
students
is,
here,
fisheries.
it's a pathway you may choose. Now you've chosen a pathway, I know. But I know, having learned both in the country and out of the country in the UK, that's through mentorship of my. But today, because of the students, I won't want to go to the jargon. I'll concentrate on the same, I mean the human beings, I mean the walls that are set up, I mean the CCTV installations that are in place. They will lead to smuggling, they will lead to theft, they lead to and such like stuff. So, as you understand, our port is vast acres of land, and we have, it means we have to ensure that there are no gaps, which might also not be the thing. At times, there are gaps, and these gaps, they are the ones that lead to the catastrophes that he has mentioned. Number two, I'll mention technology is changing every day. As you understand, the technology today is not the technology tomorrow. Things are changing. So our ports are facing attacks, cyber attacks. The systems are being attacked. The ships on board are being attacked, the navigation systems. All these have a repercussion, which may lead to the loss of money through which could have come to benefit us as a country or other parts of the world. Number three, I want to mention about the geopolitics. Geopolitics, I mean, look at the Strait of Hormuz, what is happening. Because of the blockade and the war that is ongoing, you find that there is a vulnerability that the cargo that I'm expecting in the port of Mombasa tomorrow may not be here tomorrow. The ships are forced to go round to the Cape of Good Hope, round to Kenya, and that, you understand, has a repercussion in terms of escalation of the commodities, the goods. For example, now the fuel prices are high. Number 3 or 4, to sum it up, I talk about climate vulnerability. Sometimes the ships at sea, they navigate through conditions that are harsh, conditions that are not favorable. Because of that, it leads to delay times in terms of the cargo arriving at their port of calls and such like stuff. So we basically looking at you as the port, ensuring that you are abilities. That way, you will know where the gaps are and how to curb them. Number two, continuous training. Personnel working on those ports so that they are up to date in terms of the current changing in technology. Investing in surveillance and intelligence systems. These can help us as our human nature. There's a limit we can survey. We employ the use of surveillance systems. They will help us in bridging the gaps that may be in place in terms of looking at taking care of our cargo and such like. Basically, a takeaway from that is that currently maritime, we say that security is no longer just about protecting the ports. It is about ensuring there is trade, it's about ensuring there is economic stability, and it's about ensuring there is national security. And since you understand our port is one of our national strategic asset, we need to come in and ensure that as those vulnerabilities that are mentioned, just a few, they are taken care of. Thank you. I hope I've answered your question.
Oh yes, thank you very much. Continuous training. The more you think you're secure, the more other people are thinking on how to break your security. Kwa hivyo kila saa lazima unaji-update. Now, over to our next panelist, Colonel Faith. Colonel, you represent the sharp end of Kenya's maritime defense. The Kenyan Navy does not merely patrol. It protects the sovereign space within which all this commerce happens. But your world is also one of crisis planning, scenario simulation, and leadership under extreme uncertainty. The maritime sector often talks about business community as a plan in a binder. You know that continuity is a command decision made in real time with incomplete information and of course under immense pressure. So my question is, what lessons from security planning and crisis leadership can be applied to maritime emergency preparedness, critical infrastructure protection, and business continuity? Karibu Colonel.
Thank you very much. Thank you, moderator, for having me. I really appreciate being in this forum today. Before I go to address your question, which is very pertinent in the current era and the current times of geopolitics and world conflicts, as we heard from the other panelists, I'd like to introduce myself. That I'm Lieutenant Colonel Faith Mwagandi from the Kenya Navy. Probably several of you have heard my name here and there, but I've been in the Navy for just over 15 years now, and major part of my life has been on board the ships. I've sailed through the coast of Somalia, I've sailed through the world seas, the Mediterranean, in Europe. I've been to all agent or as a commercial shipping line, but to protect the sea and make sure everything is going on well. So yeah, thank you very much. Just to inspire, because one of the things that I'm very passionate about is inspiring both female, maritime personnel, or even other sectors, and even male. So these are accolades, some of them. The head of state, all the government personnel were very happy to see a woman do that or break the ceiling on that level. But my main inspiration then is to tell statement is very real. You're not limited. You are only limiting factor. Where you start does not matter. Where you go is your own effort, is your own dedication matter. Where you go is your own effort, is your own dedication, is your own zeal, and is your own vision. So you teach at some point in our Kenya Naval Training College, Kenya Naval Training College, and there are some of my best students that I'm always proud of them, of who they have become. Only yourself who can limit yourself. But we have the platforms and we have where to step in and self. But we have the platforms and we have where to step in and fly higher. So I think now I will go to the question that have been asked. So as we all know, ocean region, which is a very vital region to global commerce, every strategy that is being undertaken, including the Indo-Pacific strategy, it cannot neglect Africa, it cannot neglect the West Indian Ocean region, which have been brought forward. It's not only the ship or the port that is at risk, it's the whole system that is at risk. And for me, I look at this as good to withhold is the one that we detected earlier and we averted it. So many stakeholders are in the maritime industry, and for that maritime industry to flourish, and this is the work of the Navy. There are many organizations that have set up, and that's why there is piracy, but it has really gone to very low levels as you compare to 2011, when we just outside our port that we cannot even call piracy. But efforts have been made to make that secure. But when you come to crisis and leadership, when you need to react to situations or you need to prepare to situations, one of the things that you have to be clear about, and what we can learn from the military, is having unity of command. We call it unity of command, but in the civilian world, I will talk about, or will be uniting who is going to lead what, who is going to do what. It becomes chaotic, and we are already in a VUCA environment. So there has to be very clear command and coordination and communication structures, that we know this is the lead in this situation, and when this happens, this is the information that is to go to so and so, to so and so, and to so and so, for us to coordinate and react to that incident. And this is what we have in the military. Any training, any activity, or any operation usually has a very clear command structure. Everybody, even though we are all in the military, we know who we will report to. And I know the information that I'm giving to this person. So this now makes it very easy for this central organization to coordinate and see where we can, or instruct on what can happen everywhere. Another lesson that I feel is very important is on the form of preparedness. We cannot wait for a risk to happen. We need to know how to assess our preparations. We do is having rehearsals of our contingency plans and our security plans. In the military, one of the things we do is, one of the important, on paper, it can be very good on paper, but it can have so many vulnerabilities if it is rehearsed. And these are the procedures we take. I know many organizations in the civilian world, shoes of the pirates, and know what is going to do, especially in this era where the threat itself is evolving. And we need to adapt as fast as we can. We need to adapt to AI, we need to adapt to autonomy, prepare, react, and be resilient to it. So that means, where do you take redundancy? That is one of the ways you can be able to operate after. It's not an option. In the military, we always have a redundancy plan, or a redundancy structure, or a redundancy infrastructure. And it's not something that is like this will take over and something else happens. For example, when recently the site of the president was attacked, right? There's a cyber threat that happened.
Yes.
And once it was detected, it had already happened. So redundant, such that when we are at war and the commander is killed, there's another one to take over immediately. And he has a full plan, and he has full instructions to all the rest to continue with the fight and never to stop. And that is when you can ensure.
Mimi niko hapa to fall to command. Weza ongea mpaka ukisema basi ni basi. Asante sana. Well, we must hear rehearse, and rehearse means practicing the nervous system of Kenya's trade. KenTrade single window platform is the gateway through which billions of shillings of commerce. We have seen nations whose trade infrastructure was compromised not by bombs but by bytes, megabytes, gigabytes of viruses.
My name is Anne Wawero from Kenya Trade Network Agency, that is KenTrade. I'm in charge of ICT. I'm the director ICT and security, and in Ofede, we cannot talk of ICT without heavily talking of what she has talked about. We have mapped everything she has talked about. The digital resilience requires that when you come to talk about systems, because we bring together all the partner government agencies that are tasked with facilitating trade in different areas. Talk of port health, people like Kenya Maritime Authority, KRA, Kenya Ports Authority. So we bring together all those partner government agencies in one platform. So one of the things is that platform, my system with your system, and be happy that that system is secure. So we bring all those players into one platform that we call the Kenya National Electronic Single Window System, and we integrate them, geopolitical things. One thing we are sure of is if everything else fails and you can be able to initiate your trade from China, our system will always be available 24/7, integrated, did not have to stop. We continue to import our things, to export, to the extent that we are not physically affected because there is a fee of your house. You will transact with all those agencies, and the most important thing is to know that we try and reduce the paperwork, which is an element of eliminating. We ensure, even if it's somebody out there, our system is not prone to all those attacks. We have implemented. You will see whatever is happening throughout the day in terms of the attacks. Attacks are usually so many on government systems, especially today. Ransomware are usually very many. And that will ensure that if there is any incident realized, then it is dealt with on the spot, and we are able to see where the threats, that most of the threats are coming from. So within the KenTrade framework, we are securing the traders, and we are securing even the partner government agencies, and we are making sure that Kenya is secure, because being a national Kenya, and it would mean a lot of disruption, probably as good as having that piracy happening in the ocean. So that's what we are offering on the table, and we continue to ensure that we can do that better each day. Then one of the other things we've done at KenTrade is ensuring that we are following the modern security standards. Yeah, we are ICS 1 of 2022 certified, in addition to all the other ISO certifications, so that we can be trusted. Because if your system is not trusted, then people will not want to integrate. And privilege access management, so that from out there you cannot just come and you are not identified to be who you are claiming to be. So that's how we are securing the digital trade framework within Kenya. In terms of enhancing supply chain, we have many, we are tracking cargo using, I think it's the first one in this country of its kind. The TLIP, the Trade Logistics Information Platform, that is again is interconnecting key government agencies, KenTrade, Revenue Authority, and right now we are doing KEFIS to ensure that the goods that are imported, exported from Kenya, say to Denmark or to India, there is traceability. They can be trusted. We've integrated the platform with business intelligence, so that we can share data with the PGS who are involved, we can share data with any stakeholder who has the authority to be shared on a higher level, implementation of AI for risk profiling, implementation of IoT and large language model. That is where how we are doing it at Kentrade, and that's how we are securing the Kenya as a nation in regards to trade facilitation. Thank you.
Makofi. Najua BBC, born before computers. Usituone tu, we look young, this ni kula vizuri tu na maombi kwa wingi. Lakini we remember a time where, so right now it's quite revolutionary to see where ICT is, and it's inculcated in every part of our life. Sindio? So with those few remarks, sasa tutakaribisha maswali from the audience, anybody with a question.
On the Indian Ocean than some of the other oceans that we have port facilities and maritime facilities. As an institution, when we work, a current president, the president of the African Development Bank, as vision, is calling 4 cardinal points, and the 4th cardinal point is on building climate resilience, or developing so together with the issue of business continuity. There has been a need to revisit the designs of the quays installations in those ports, either to lift them up a little bit higher because of coastal flooding and sea level rise aspects. So I just wanted to add that in all these port facilities, there is need, even where it's an existing port, just may need to be put into place in that particular port or that particular maritime investment so that it can be climate resilient. And in this particular country, we do have a scenario for those who were there during the 1998 El Nino. IT systems vulnerability is something of very significance. I work in an international development finance institution and as a system, and they are done in such a manner that you need to have a cunning eye to pick them. And by the way, when you pick it out and you read it, then immediately you get set out to do a remedial. And to Kentrade, I think you really have a big responsibility, because where Kentrade is coming in is becoming equivalent of another M-Pesa platform, and throughout. And I'm saying this from a very authoritative point of view. I did not say this earlier. I was the first project manager. I worked with the late Alex Kabuga and Eric. If you can talk to Eric, he can tell you the work we did. So I'm talking from a very authoritative position when it comes to maritime single windows. So thank you very much.
Gaming. Now, any other question? Any other question from the audience? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have traveled a considerable distance this afternoon from regulatory frameworks that keep us lawful to cyber walls that keep us secure, to the training decks that keep us ready, to digital platforms that keep us connected. If panel 1 was about moving cargo, this very panel 2 is about protecting the system that moves it. And the overwhelming message I hear from this is safety and efficiency are not opposites. They are conjoined twins. Separate them and they both die. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to give a big round of applause for our panelists. And before they leave, kila mmoja hapa tutampa 1 minute. 1 minute aweke parting shot yake, an advice, a word, something that you think you missed, or something that you want to reinforce. Please go ahead. We can start with you, Major, retired.
Thank you very much. Parting shot. Like we used to say in the Navy, that the sea will never dry. It's true, the sea can never dry. To the students, you've chosen that path. I want you to know that the path you've chosen is the right path. Just chase for your dreams and get to the goals. Thank you.
Asante, big round of applause.
Okay. Okay, I'll lay on his comments, and I will say security and safety, both physical and in the IT space, is our personal responsibility. And also, just like when you enter this compound you have a lot of security to ensure things are working away. When you are giving a public infrastructure, a public system, security becomes like your life stream, your bloodstream that you must think about every morning when you wake up. As you move, you must be asking yourself about the security of your systems. And that's what Kentrade is doing. But on the other hand, we must empower our users by telling them security begins with you. You see, I can use this gadget to access the trade facilitation platform, that is the Kenya National Electronic Single Window. So as users of the system, we must start with security from our perspective. Is my phone secure enough to access other digital services that are being given around in the country, because there are many? Because it starts with you. When you get in with your phone, how secure is it? And that's why within the IT field, security awareness is a big thing, yeah? And within Kentrade, every time we do stakeholder engagement, and we do quite a lot of stakeholder engagements, I'm sure you are aware of that, we always include an aspect of cyber security awareness, because we will not assume that everybody is aware about it. We must carry you along like you are coming within the system for the first time, because majority of the traders out there, probably they don't interact with other systems except from say the KRA when doing the tax, and our system when they are doing the transactions they are doing for trade. So we must own that security from our perspective. And for Kentrade, security awareness is embraced in the stakeholder engagement. So next time we have a stakeholder engagement and we have to call everybody, please show up. We'll teach you, we'll tell you things probably you've not heard from another perspective, and we'll leave you a better person. Thank you.
Asante sana. Mmesikia hizo? Movie sites za free crack software. Haya, mambo ndo kama haya. Lifteni.
Thank you very much. I want to talk to the students first in my parting shots. How many of you use AI tools to do your work or do anything you need to do? How many of you use AI tools? There are several AI tools, right? How many of you use these AI tools? You will be okay. Thank you so much. At least I was seeing like people are hesitant to say I use AI. So kama if you don't use AI, then that means uko nyuma sana ya watu wengine. Everybody uses AI everywhere. AI is now everywhere. But what I want to challenge you as young people, as young minds, be the creators of AI. Don't be the consumers of AI. Okay? This is where the world is going. Don't be the one that's going to receive. Be the one that's going to make something out of it. And there are platforms and there are areas you can use. And even digitization is all about that and AI. Be a person who is making AI work for you, not you just receiving what is coming from AI. Okay, so the other thing is, like, you have all the opportunities where you are now. It is for you to take advantage of this opportunity for you to become who you are. Like the people who have come here, all of them are people who started from very humble backgrounds, or people who started from where you are exactly. So whatever limits you is yourself. Lastly, about maritime security, it is a whole of systems approach, it is a whole of government approach, it is a whole of society approach. Security has to be approached at a point of view where everyone knows that I have to be secure to do my business, I have to be secure to earn a living, I have to be secure to make sure that I get a profit of what I am doing. And how best we can do that is to coordinate and be, as a maritime stakeholder, know who are the other stakeholders, how do you coordinate with them, how do you tap information from them, and how do you give out that information. Because one of the gaps we are seeing is where organizations heavily operate on a silo formation. Everyone says this is mine or this is for the other person. And that even makes security very difficult. Safety, where we have to respond to issues, becomes very difficult because the stakeholder who is supposed to act does not have the information, because there's a certain stakeholder who is holding into that information thinking it might be of an advantage to the other person. But you know what to share, what not to share, who to share to, but everybody and every stakeholder must do their job, and we must coordinate together to ensure our sea is secure and we are all ready and we are all at the platform where we can do our business and we can digitize to continue with the benefits that come from being an area that is next to a very productive and very commercialized area of the sea, because this is the frontier of the next development. Thank you very much.
Asante. Maybe just before tumalize, is studying security, does it have a future of employment, or can you make it big there? And there's still chances up, all that there is to be invented in security shall be invented. Is it a lucrative career to look up to? Yes.
If I was a young person today, and I'm looking at a career in ICT, the most lucrative career right now is the software development and using those, coming up with those AI tools and automating things and doing things differently in a faster and efficient way. And then most important is the cybersecurity field. It is a field that is not very well exploited by young people. Majority do not know where to start because, of course, it's an upcoming field, but it is a very lucrative field. It has jobs, and the jobs will always be there because the world has gone digital, and we are not going back. It doesn't matter how many times you are hacked. Even if the president website is brought down tomorrow and other systems are brought down tomorrow, nobody will go back to paper. Yeah? So the thing will be enhancing the system where we need the developers, the application developers, the software engineers, and also the cybersecurity guys. And hence, the cybersecurity is becoming diversified. If you look at cybersecurity today, you have cybersecurity analysts, you have IT security officers, it has become like medicine. The field of ICT, just the same way you have a physician, you have a gynecologist, you have what. Today, the field of ICT is that diversified because now people are narrowing. I want to be a software engineer with AI skills. I want to be a mobile app developer. It is going very granular because that's the way things are going. Then when you go to cybersecurity, it's also going that granular. So there's a lot. In fact, most young people, I tell them, if you don't know what to do, you don't need to have done IT in high school, yeah, to do IT. Finish your whatever, your Form 4 with whatever you finished with, so long as you get an entry grade. And these days you can start even as low as a D. You go do your certificate, do your diploma, do your degree, so long as you have passion. Because majority of the careers we are in, again, it's all about passion. There are those who just fell there because they didn't have any other thing to do. But I don't think you can do medicine because you found yourself there. You have to have the passion to be a doctor. And similarly, you have to have a passion to pursue ICT. But now what you need to educate the young people, there are different fields. But you need to be exposed to those fields to know how to get yourself from the basic to a certain field and where the jobs mostly will fall in the next number of years. But because technology is here to stay, we have to empower every young person to figure out the best field for themselves. Thank you.
Asante sana. So before we close this session, ningependa kusema students, kesho ni siku yenu. Tomorrow symposium is just about you. Kwa hivyo tafadhali, kesho from 8:30 asubuhi sote tujae, tuanze mapema, kutakuwa na expo nje, yeah? We have lined up brilliant speakers for you guys for tomorrow's panel, yeah? Na hiyo panel occasion is designed specially for you. So With those few remarks, I want us to give a big round of applause. Yeah, asante kwa our panelists today for very insightful remarks. Asanteni sana. Maybe we'll just take a group photo before we leave. Camera. Mr. Elijah, if you could join us in this picture, please. Asanteni sana. Big round of applause as they head down. Thank you very much. So, asanteni guys. See you tomorrow in the morning. Thank you.